કેમ છો અમદાવાદ? हाँ મને એટલી જ ગુજરાતી આવડે છે अभी सीखा है बस ये भी ठीक है तो दोबारा करेंगे કેમ છો અમદાવાદ? Nice. Just to get a pulse of the people around here, how many of you are still in college? Okay, can you guys stand up once? Yeah, I'm making them stand because they have the skill set of sleeping with eyes open. So others who are still not standing and in college probably have mastered that skill. So cool. I think that's around 30%, 20 or 30% of the attendance here. So good to know and assume others are working professionals. So you guys can sit down. Thanks for this. Hi everyone, I'm Sachin Singla, currently software engineer at Google, working in the Hyderabad campus, part of the cloud BI team. Previously, I worked at Intuit, Myntra, and Local in Bangalore. So that's pretty much about me. And today I'll be talking on Agentic AI Flow using Opal. Anyone here who has experimented or worked with Opal? Okay, I see one here, one there. Anyone else? Who all are hearing this term for the first time, Opal? Cool, so I think that's great, a good amount of audience. I think this will be a new learning for the ones who have not heard it before, and for those who know might learn something new here. I think you have been hearing about agentic AI from the morning, and probably in next 2 hours also you'll keep on hearing the same thing. The beauty of this is that different people might have different interpretations around that, and nothing is perfectly right or wrong in this. So this is not something like object-oriented programming where we have books written on and it's a streamlined thing starting from scratch which has defined things. It's still an evolving area of expertise. So you might hear like different things around that. So that's how it is evolving even now. So just to get a glimpse of what Opal is, it's a new experimental tool from Google Labs that lets you build your apps, maybe using some simple Gemini prompt that we'll see, or playing around with the visual edits as well. So even if you have not heard of Opal, how many have worked with N8N? Okay, I think a good amount of folks. Lovable? Cool, nice. So this is something on similar lines, but brings something new to the table as well, wherein like you don't only have the option to get the apps built with a prompt, but also play around with the nodes. So you get the best of both worlds, which might be missing in some of the products out there already existing in market. So let's start again from beginning. What is an agent? Any metrics fans out here? Cool. So when I heard the agent term for the first time, this is what came to my mind. What is an agent? But coming on to the new definition that we have been learning from the morning. Anyone who can tell me what is an agent now? I think you revised this in the first session itself. Okay, you'll get goodies to answer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe you can repeat for other folks.
An agent is, I think, something that has agency and can take decisions and work on things.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's somewhere near around that. Anyone who would like to take another chance and try out? So were you sleeping in the morning session or now? I think one person we have there.
Hello. Yeah. So, sir, agent is just like in the morning we heard like agent has like own meaning, on purpose, and on preference. So, it we give the set of instruction like you have to work like this. We should give the inputs and what we expect from it. So it just process our inputs and give us the expected outputs.
Yes, very nice. I think a big round of applause for both of these who tried to answer it. So I think they mentioned the right thing. Mostly, like we can think of it in the direction like let's think on the lines. What is the basic difference between LLMs that we have been learning from, say, 22 or something, and the recent age which has come up of agentic AI or agents which are coming into the being. So the key differences are that suppose you asked an LLM of some personalized upskilling recommendations, they might suggest you some courses which you can take. How agent would be different from it is it might give you more personalized suggestions based on your persona, what kind of role you are currently in, give you suggestions around that. And more on top of that, it can take actions based on that. So not only make suggestions, maybe it can schedule some sessions on one of those courses for you. It can book on your calendar slots so that you can take up learning around that time. It can also send messages to your friends on your behalf saying that, say, so and so person is doing this and this course. So your friends can also try out that. And maybe in future, it can also take maybe the course on your behalf, who knows. So that's the key difference. Now, what exactly is an agent? So again, the difference in case of LLMs or agents, that how we see it is, foundational models or the LLMs, as we say, are sort of backseat drivers, giving you constant instructions on what should be done, but not actually doing anything on that behalf, wherein the agents are the one taking actions based on that. So I believe many of you who drive cars would have experienced that, wherein you have backseat drivers giving you instructions, take left, take right, or maybe slow down. Maybe they even don't know to drive themselves, but they would still be instructing you at each point. So that's a kind of real-life example of difference between LLM and agent. Cool. Let's understand that in the Gujarati fashion now, since we are here. So I'm visiting Gujarat, Ahmedabad for the first time, but I've always liked it. I've been grown up watching Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma, so I've been a great fan. So maybe just to ensure no one is sleeping, this is one of my favorite song, Khalasi, so let's sing these lines together. I would love to, for you guys to sing and I'll follow along. We'll sing together. 1, 2, 3. એવો કોને છે ખલાસી મને કહી દો ને એના ઠામે ને ઠિકાના મને દઈ દો ને એવો કોને છે ખલાસી મને કહી દો ને ગોતી લો તમે ગોતી લો ठीक है तो if you were to say this to an LLM, it might give you the name of that khalasi or the sailor and maybe even the address, whereas the agent might give you the route to that particular address, schedule that in your Google Maps, and tell you the exact path to go there, and maybe tell you which path to take, as we were discussing in today's morning session, which Harsh sir showed, wherein like based on your personal experience and recommendations, it might suggest you which exact path you should take to reach out to that khalasi. Does that make sense? Yes or no, guys? Cool. Okay, now coming to, as I said, different people might have different understanding and nothing is perfectly right or wrong. But as per my understanding, these are the major 4 anatomy of an agent, 4 major segments, which constitute any particular agent that might exist out there. First is the profiling or planning module, which is sort of the DNA of the agent, which is basically acts like sort of the persona, whether you are a product manager, you are a software engineer. Based on that, the recommendations or the actions would differ. Then we have the memory module, which is actually the long-term advantage with the agent, wherein there are different modules, short-term memory, long-term memory. We won't go into the deep details of those terms. But this is just to give you a glimpse of those ideas, and in case you are more interested, you can again go back and read about them, learn more about those things. Then we have the knowledge module, which is sort of a knowledge base or the agent's brain power, which connects all the sources and tells it where in or what boundaries it has to remain while answering any of the questions or making any of the suggestions. And then the most important one is the actions module, which separates it out because other things with tuning in prompts you might be able to achieve with LLMs as well. But this is something wherein it differs, where it can take actions based on those behalf. You can connect the relevant APIs to it. It can perform actions. If you give your credit card passwords, OTPs, or maybe access to your SMS, it might even purchase gifts, as I think it was suggested in one of the sessions in the morning as well. It can schedule a delivery of those gifts, make the payment, and it will get scheduled to your doorstep. So coming back to Opal, about which we are here today mostly for. Uh, as I said, Opal is also on the similar lines of few of the tools, no-code or vibe coding tools as they are being called right now, wherein it allows you to describe a mini application and generate the apps for you using that particular prompt, or you can also play around with the nodes that it will create for you. You can edit the models in each of the nodes that exist out there, and it will show you the prompts so you have a grasp on the workflow of how the things are going on, and you can play around with it. So we'll also take a look at it, how it actually looks. So this is the home page for Opal that will open for you once you are there. And there exists few of the template sort of Opals, which are like kind of auto-created mini apps. And you can open any of these, try out how this is working, and even remix in this, like build on top of that. This is something like which is very important. Once you have created something, you can share it with your friends, and maybe like they can build on top of it, bring something new to the table in the same existing project, and see how things are being improved. So for now, let's start by creating a new one and see like how this is, how the flow looks like. I'll start with a simple prompt. Say suppose something like this, an app to take user input. So suppose we remove this for now. We're kind of creating a LinkedIn post or blog creator kind of thing for us. So that's all. Like this is a very basic prompt. I have not even defined many things which I could have done. Maybe some sort of word limits. I could have instructed it, hey, give particular hashtags around it, or some sort of my writing style to curate more appropriate topics around it. But we are starting with a very basic one to see like how things are. And this is how it creates a sort of mini app for you, wherein you see like once I start on it, I can write any topic and it will actually generate the LinkedIn post for me. So this is a sort of mini app that has been created out here. Now other benefits that you have here is you can share this app, publish your Opal, and then you can get a link out of it, which you can then share with, say, you are doing a prototyping of things and try out with your customers. Say you have 4 different versions of app, try different versions with different customers, give them different links to try that out. This will work similar to the existing the templates that existed out there, Opal. So similarly, these links would be private to you, but for whomever you share these links with, they'll be able to access that particular app. Now, once this app is created, you might not be satisfied in the first iteration itself. So you can go into each of the node. In each of the node, you'll be actually able to see what model it has selected for you, what prompt it has actually given into that, and what is the function that it's actually doing. So there could be 3 sort of nodes majorly: user input, generation, or output. Either like they would be taking some sort of input, doing some sort of generation, or making some sort of output for you. So now if I want to change something in this, few ways are I add a new node on myself, put it wherever I want it in the flow, and then define the prompts there and give it the relevant model. Or if I want to change something in the existing one, that is something I can do. Or you can again give it a prompt and see how it changes the flow for you. Like this is the first iteration that we went through, but we are not satisfied with this. And suppose I want to say ki add some relevant image to the blog post as well. So let's see how it actually changes the mini app that it has actually created for you. By the way, Opal is still in its beta release, and it was released in India only in October very recently. Before that, I think it was there only in US and few other countries for 2, 3 months, and it has been released in October recently here. So feel free to try it out after you go home. So see, now it has changed the flow for what it created earlier. It has again added an image generation prompt here, generate the image for that, and then render that in the same post that exists out there that it will be creating for you in the output. Suppose I wanted to add a video to this as well. Again, I could just give it a mini tweak in the prompt itself, and it will do the change for that as well. So in the interest of time, I had actually created few of these sorts. So let's see. This is again with the one with similar prompts that I had created a few minutes back. So here, again, it is like sort of doing a LinkedIn post generator and adding images and video as well to it. So let's see how this works. And we also see like what are the other things, console, step, themes that are out there. Any good topic? Sorry? No, let's try with something technical and maybe something unique. Any Marvel fans out there? Okay. So maybe let's try with something like this. Vibranium in tech. Now this is a little sort of unique topic. Vibranium, if only, I think only the Marvel fans would relate to it. A very precious metal for Wakanda. And then let's see like how this actually is able to relate to it. This is not something very common sort of topic I've given it. So just to able to see like what are its capabilities and how it's able to comprehend it and then create a post around that. Now while it's generating the post, the good things that are actually the use cases for it is around the learning things that you can see. In the console, you can actually see each step that is being done. And you can also see this coloring box which is going on in this node. Basically, it is doing this processing at this particular time. So you can see the things happening in the real time, as in on which step it is currently on, and on that particular step, what is the model that is being called, what is the time that model took, what was the prompt and what was the output that came at that particular step. So for the image, this was the output that was being done. Now for video, it's actually called VO3, and this is the video that's generated out there. And it is on the last step, and we'll actually be able to see the post that it creates for us here. So it's still loading the video. The video is loaded. So this is the post that it has generated out of that. And this is the video that it also added to it. So if you see, even in the video, it has tried to bring both of on both the worlds vibranium, some sort of metal which exists out in the Marvel world, and then in technology, what fields it can actually relate that to. That is what it has tried in both image and videos as well, and in the content also. Again, the better the prompt that you're able to give it, you might be able to get even better ideas. This is very simple and naive prompt that we tried out with, just to see what are the basic capabilities that we can play around and get in this. Now there is sky is the limit, as they say, and you can like try out and whatever you can imagine of, try out those things, create anything which you feel might be a good use case for it. And the basic use cases are around prototyping, when you are actually not confirmed, when you are around to release one of the products to market. We basically go through many iterations. So try out the different products that you want to try out and get feedback on each of them and see what works best for you. And the good thing is it actually gives you a good idea of how things are working in real time. You can see what prompt might work better for you, what models might work better for which particular step. So that's mostly about it. I'll also show like few other output that I got from this particular mini app itself. So I gave it the topic for Android versus iOS, and this is the sort of output that I got from it. So again, in this you can see this is a short 8-second video from VO3 and then image out there with that particular post that it thinks might be relevant. So this is the app that we were trying out, and here also we can see different nodes that it has created out there. Again, at different interpretations with different prompts, the linkage of nodes might be different. The flow would vary according to that. You can either change it manually if you want, or again play around with the prompts and then get it in the required format that you want. Let's also see the existing Opals out there in the templates. So this is a one around business profiler. So again, this is a sort of mini app which has been created and a sort of template mini app which has been provided here. You can start with it. Say, suppose I want to test around Tesla. It will actually do the research for that particular thing. Let's see the console, what all it is actually calling out. And if you want, you can see the prompt that exists in this particular node, this step. And here, these are the tools as it has been instructed to do for the research, search map, search web, get web page, and then take out the relevant information from there and then provide a summarized output out of it. So let's see how this also works. And here we can see like what all calls were made, what was the output that it received from those particular calls in the steps, and then how it actually summarizes it and provides the output to us. So this is the sort of output that it provides, Tesla Quick Business Profile, around like what are the models that they're making. It also suggests the different links that would be there for that particular information that exists out there, and provides you a sort of output. Now, again, as I was saying, this is not all. Even in the template, if you feel that you can perform anything better or create something differently in the existing app out there, you have the option to remix. Again, this takes you back to the editing window of that particular Opal. Now, again, you can either like play around with the nodes, see what all exists there, or again, go out with a simple prompt. Suppose even in this research business, I want to add a video, or I want to say, give me a comparative description with some competitors. So maybe we can add something around that. So this should actually change the flow, add something out there in one of the existing nodes or create a new node out of it, so as we get the output on the similar lines. So now see, if you see, it has added a step here, a research business and its competitors, then generate the business profile and give the output like that. If we want to try it out and see how the output actually changes now, let's see. Okay, till the time it's still running, we can actually go around and see some other examples. So this is another app that I created around Report Builder, wherein you can just update some sort of data sources, and the prompts are around getting some insights on those particular data sets. So usually like we come around this situation, like we have say an Excel sheet of 1,000 lines or 1,500 lines, and we're not sure like what particular insights those data can provide. So this is some sort of mini app that could be useful for some analysts uh, doing work around there, and it would also, based on a prompt, generate outputs based on the analysis that it does, create charts out of it. So these are some examples which you can actually try out. And in this, if we see that it was running the first step in the business profiler mixer that we run, it provides a summary of the company Tesla, then its market position and financials, then recent developments. And if you see in its competitors, it's actually trying out and seeing for BYD company, which is a Chinese manufacturer of the cars, which is actually a direct competitor to Tesla on an international level. And this is still in the research business step and trying to like think around different businesses that exist out there and doing the competitive analysis. And it actually generates this sort of output wherein it shows the business profile and competitive analysis of Tesla. So if we see, it tells you around its products and services, its target customers, vision, reviews, and then on competitive analysis, it tells like some traditional automakers, EV startups, and the Chinese manufacturer BYD, which is also a direct competitor to it, and provides you a summary of the business profile that exists out there. So this is another example of some sort of mini app that you could have created out with it. Again, as I was saying, the possibilities are limitless, and it depends on like what you want to try out, what problem you want to solve. Talking about little bit about high level architecture on how it exists, as we saw that we could break down it into two major parts. One is the visual flow that exists, and one is the prompting part that is out there. In the visual part, we have input nodes, processing nodes, output nodes. Then they might have different bifurcations further. And in the execution engine, we are actually giving it a natural language input, which under the hood is doing some sort of intent classification, creating a kind of dependency graph, and then workflow abstract syntax tree creation to transform it into the relevant nodes that you see on the visual editor out there. And again, if you give it a prompt to change something around that, it goes further and changes things in the existing flow that exists out there. So when to use it? I think as we already discussed, the major use cases, if you have a very simple AI-driven idea, but you don't have the relevant time and resources to build the whole scalable solution out of it, this is something which comes into the picture, wherein you can create a quick prototype with this sort of mini app, and which can do the different tasks that you want it to perform, and then try out it with different customers, do the rapid experimentation that we are doing these days, and see what would be the actual best product for you to provide, and so that you can ensure that all the resources and time you can put only into the right product and not wasting most of the resources in trying out things which actually fail later. So failing is an inevitable part of the process, but if we are able to like fail earlier in the process, it would be good because we'll have more time and resources for the actual thing that we want to deliver. So the major features of Opal, it excels in AI-powered mini apps using natural language. Workflow creation, it provides you best of both worlds, as we discussed, wherein you can edit with natural language or visual editing, which is sort of missing in the existing product solutions that exist out there. Most of the solutions would provide either of these, and then ease of use, it's very beginner friendly. You can just go, click there, and write anything in English, and it will perform some action out of it. Then it's up to you how refined you can make it and what best use case you can try to solve along with it. It's more guided. You have the flexibility, you have the control of each step, each node. You can actually see what's going under the hood. So it's more transparent as compared to other solutions that might be there. You can see what step is running at what particular time, how much time each particular step is taking, which model would perform best for which particular step, and obviously good integration with the Google tech that would exist out there. Since it's still in beta, it might not have direct integrations with other products that would exist out there, which might be something which is already there in the existing products like N10 and Lovable. But since it's in beta, it does not have those particular integrations at this particular time. So that's mostly about it, what I had to tell. I'm open for any questions.